What's up, T Smalls in the house?
What's going on, Mr. Palmer? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing lovely. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Under the Tree. We have Mr. Prince, David Pick, Conley in the house.
Hey, hello everybody. How's everybody doing?
Give him a round of applause.
Right, yes, sir.
He is here joining us today for everybody to hear his life story. And backstage, he shared something with me and Mr. Smalls that I really didn't know. So when he shares this story with y'all going to be kind of amazed with the whole thing that he has to say because he made it look good. What you think, Smalls?
Man, he made it look damn good. I'm impressed. I'm telling you.
Yeah. When he told that part of his life, I was like, whoa, Pop goes to Weasel. But I didn't know.
Right.
Well, what be, it's like I gotta just always say it's because all praises to the Most High, because if he didn't do certain things to me, I guess I wouldn't be a certain person. So when you hear what's going on with me, you know that it's the Most High that kind of guided me in certain ways, and that's kind of what you get from me.
Right, and that's a blessing. That shows true talent, with everything that you had to endure. And I just seen a YouTube video. Matter of fact, I had it on the podcast page. You was playing a little bit. Only You Can Make Me Happy. Small, you seen it too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were going in now.
And on the video, I didn't know any difference. How about you, Small?
Man, that's why I told her you make it look damn good to me, man. I'm a fan.
Well, let's just spare the suspense. Actually, what we were talking about, everybody, was that I've been blind for a long time. I was legally blind pretty much all my life. And back then, when we would do the videos and things of that nature, I really couldn't see the camera. They just tell me where to point my eyes, and I just shine it out, do my thing, But I had time to really adjust to that lifestyle because I had a degenerative eye disease from birth, which means that it got worse as I got older. So, when I was young, I thought what I was seeing was everybody else was seeing. But it wasn't, and I noticed that people had certain shapes about them. If they were walking across the street or something, I'd say, oh, there goes Karen. Oh, there goes Paul, because I could tell their shape. But I couldn't really see their face, but I knew who they were. So that's how I kind of grew up, that kind of vision. And then later on, it got worse and worse and worse and worse to where it is now, where I can't see too much at all.
Wow. But like we said, we don't know any difference. Even now, it still seems like you can see us on the screen.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, I see your souls now. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to hide that from me now.
Right.
My antenna's out right now.
I read your bio. Me and my co-host, we read your bio.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really realize that you've been doing this a long time.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Going way, way back.
I'm
a OG, as everybody knows. I ain't scared to say it now. Before I used to be like, oh, I hope they don't find out how old I am. All that. It is what it is now, you know what I mean? And especially when you mentioned the group Mandrill. When I played with Mandrill, everybody knows that Mandrills was a 70s group, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Right.
That automatically puts an age on you. I was on Soul Train with Mandrill at 1978. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first Soul Train entry with Mandrill, 1978.
1978, I think I was around 9.
See, here it comes. Here it comes.
I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah. Now we gotta talk to your mama,
Right. What made you I don't see a lot of brothers playing the flute. So what made that instrument, became of interest to you?
It's the strangest thing about the flute, because I didn't have an interest to play the flute. It became to me, and that's what I mean. It actually became to me. I know it sounds a little weird. But I just came out of my house one day and I was walking down Springdale Avenue in East Orange, New Jersey. And a guy named Daryl, he had a flute for sale. And he was selling this flute for $25. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow, this is pretty. And I said, I'll give you 10. So even then, I looked at the flute, and I was a hustler back then. I used to shoot pool, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like, doing all kinds of wild stuff to make some money. I looked at that flute. I said, I know I can get me $25 or $30 for this thing. So I bought it for $10. I went back to the house, which was only a block away. Went downstairs in the basement, and I took it out the case, and I started looking at it. I was like, wow, this thing is pretty. I figured out how to put it together. And then I knew that you had to play it like I always used to play around blowing bottles, and just get the little sound, that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
when I looked at this mouthpiece, I said, well, I guess you got to do it like that. So I just put my mouth on it and said, I was like, oh, snap, got a sound, right? And then I moved my hands around on the flute, trying to figure out where my fingers go. And I just felt like wherever I put a finger, if it was moving certain things and it felt right, I said, maybe that's it. And this underneath the bottom, I knew my thumb goes there, so then I had to figure out this hand, and I was all over the place trying to figure it out. But then I figured out that these move this and this, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, okay, that's how you do it. So then I put it back in my mouth, and I said, I'm going to move my fingers this time. So I put it in my mouth, and I just said, I was like, oh, snap. I got a sound. So out of nowhere, where I thought I was going to sell this flute, not this one. No, I didn't have this flute when I started. This is a very special flute. Anyway, but anyway, I said to myself, man, I'm going to sit here and learn how to play this thing. So I started playing it, a little simple. I started out because I knew nursery rhymes in my head. So I was doing stuff like, let me say, so I said, oh, wow. I literally knew how to play that. How? I don't know. So when you say, why did I pick the flute? Why did God pick the flute for me? Because I had nothing to do with this thing.
Right.
I sat home, never had it before. I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I grew up in music. So, and I just kept playing it, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, bam.
Yeah, the flute chose you.
Who chose me? That's why I said it became, so, I still give all praise to the Most High because, I don't really know how I learned how to play this thing that I never really had before. It's like, to me, it's still amazing to me when I think about it, even myself, all of a sudden I became a flute player and I went upstairs after being all huffy and buffy because it was blowing my brain out, it was like all dizzy. I went upstairs and my mother was sitting up on top of the steps. And she says, Pick, I didn't know you played the flute. I said, Mom, I didn't know I did either. And she said, where'd you get that thing? I said, I bought it off a doubt. She said, no, you didn't. How much was it? I said, $10. She said, you ain't buy that thing for no $10. I said, I did something. She knew I was a bad boy. She knew I was a hustler, so she probably thought I stole it. But actually, I didn't steal it.
Yeah.
It was gifted to me.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Yeah, it was a blessing. It still is a blessing.
I'm gonna tell you a true story. It's gonna be short. Now, this is true. We usually have some fun on Under the Tree podcast. Some things fictional, some things are non-fictional.
Right.
Anyways, when I was in high school, I'm from South Carolina, and I had two turntables. I'm 51 now. I had two turntables. If my sister one was on here, she could verify it. I had two turntables on top of the freezer in the garage and a mixer. And guess what song I was mixing? Only You Can Make Me Happy by Circus.
Wow.
By
Wow.
Circus. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Hey, and you here, man.
Wow.
You here, man.
Cool.
That's a true story.
That's pretty cool.
Right. It was a song. I can do it probably the not instrumental, but the a cappella real quick. It was like, only you can make me happy. Then I'll mix it. Then I'll mix it talk about sex. Then I say, only you can make me happy. Then I'll mix it turntable. Let's talk about sex.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how I did. Yeah,
Another bad boy.
That was my mix.
Right. Okay.
I was working with Don Cornelius on Soul Train because he seemed like a cool cat. And I know you did a Soul Train episode.
Yeah, we was on a few times, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get in the line and do the Soul Train dance?
I don't think I did. Because you know why? I actually could dance, but I couldn't dance like that.
Wow.
I mean, I used to show off a bit, you know what I mean? I still show off now, you know what I mean? But I could never do what they were doing. And I was scared to get in the line. But I did have my eyes on a couple of those girls back then. I'll tell you
Hey,
that.
man, I see that.
I ain't been blind all my life, you know what I mean? I still could see back then. So, it gradually went down,
Right.
But that's a blessing, though. God kept you here.
Yes, you did.
And you're still a blessing that everybody love your music all around the world.
I
You know,
appreciate it.
what keeps you going? I think, if you don't mind me saying your age, I think you're around 66 now.
You hit me right on the dot. Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know, I know that when you have a gift the way it was gifted to me, I know that it was for a reason. And I just felt like the reason was to keep giving it back. You know what I mean? So I do it to give it back. You know, I mean, I don't make a lot of money in this business, but I still make money in the business.
Right, right.
But really, it's the joy of being able to play, and even guys like you coming over and say, "Hey, man, I did this with your music, or I felt like this with your music, or I had a child with your music." I
Right,
mean, you don't know what that does to me. What keeps me going is really seeing that you know that God gifted me with something that I can give back to the people.
right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I am a people person. So when I live through this life of music, it just opens up to me. It just makes me want to keep on doing it until I can't do it anymore. Plus, you know, it's not much I can do anyway other than music. You know, of course, I'm an engineer and all that stuff, but you know, the music part of it is what I do. You know, and I
Hmm.
don't try to do anything that I can't do. You know what I mean? And, you know, this is me. If somebody would try to give me another job to do something, I don't know what I can do with it. You know what I mean? I'm a musician. You know, I'm a songwriter, musician, producer, engineer, all attached to the music. You know,
Right.
and that's where I kind of get my strength from. You know.
You have a comment coming in from Mr. Elliott Singleton. He said he played your music last Saturday night with a glass
Uh,
of liquor, and he has
okay.
some flashbacks. The music hit different.
Hey, yeah, yeah. Flashback. Music is different with the flashbacks. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Could you ever imagine that you would be mentioned in the platinum certified record category growing up, how you grew up, and saying you
Not
had
at all.
a slight
Not at all.
disability, you know?
No. Mm-mm. You know, the main reason you have to like take Bernard, the lead singer of the group.
Right.
He grew up like Michael Jackson. He was like, you know, growing up singing, you know, growing up writing, even if it was simple songs. This is the way he grew up, you know. So he always had a feeling that he wanted to be a star and that he could be a star, and he worked at being a star. I never had that aspiration, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
didn't grow up like that. I didn't pick up music till I was 19 years old.
Wow.
So when I picked up music, you know, I was just a flute player. And then I later on played percussion and then sax and all that kind of stuff. So it started augmenting itself. But at the same time, I wasn't that guy. As a matter of fact, when we started getting, it's funny to me because me and Dave, with Dave Townsend, I'm talking about the young man that passed away in the group,
Hmm.
we would be in all these stardom places and we look at each other like, how the hell did this happen? You know what I mean? We're just cats, you know what I mean? And we kind of grew up together, you know, in bands, local bands, you know, playing Earth, Wind, and Fire and Cool and the Gang and everything. You know, R.I.P. Khalees from Cool and the Gang, you know, was
Oh
a
yeah.
very good friend
Oh
of
yeah.
mine. As a matter of fact, we actually cut the second wave album with his equipment. I had bought Cool and the Gang studio from Khalees, his board, his speakers, and all that kind of stuff. So I purchased it from him. He sold it to me, and we were very good friends, you know. And we did it. He did Victory with it, and I did Second Wave with it. So, you know, R.I.P. to my man out there. But we didn't know that the stardom thing was attached to being a musician. Really, I mean, he knew more than me because his dad was Ed Townsend, you know,
Hmm.
who wrote "Let's Get It On" for Marvin Gaye. So when you grow up in that kind of environment, I guess it's a little bit different. I didn't grow up like that. You know, I grew up and just found this flute, and all of a sudden I started playing this flute and started looking around for people that did the same thing, looking around for musicians that I never knew before. But now you're taking a guy that I used to call tackheads. There
Yes.
was a bunch of little tackheads. I was one of them. I like
Hmm.
to fight, you know, do my little bad stuff. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna get too deep. But that was me. And all of a sudden you see this dude playing the flute. That ain't him. That can't be him. You know, no way. So that's kind of the way when I came back home after having hit records and everybody be like, wait a minute, wait 1 minute. How did you I didn't even know you was a musician. How you when did that happen? You know, all my school friends, you know, were like, wait a minute. He wasn't doing that in high school. So there you go. So, you know, it's kind of just once again things that just happen to me, you know what I mean?
You're
I
also
heard
a
that.
staff writer, also.
Well, thanks so much, you know. And you know, what's weird, on the writing thing, a few things happened in these last years because what happened, the first thing, my writing as far as R&B writing, I think I just started to focus it in really good on this last project I did, a Resurface album.
Mhm.
And I kind of felt like I finally got a diploma in writing. But then my spirit changed. The music business changed. The
Mm.
songs changed. I don't write the stuff that they do out here, with Cardi B and all that stuff. I have a cousin that's very famous as a young writer. She's very young and she's writing for Beyonce. She's writing for Maroon 5. She did the hit record on Ariana Grande right now.
Nice,
And she's
nice.
like my third cousin. She's coming up in music. She's doing what I was doing, but she's doing it big, right? So
Hmm.
she's writing those songs right now. You know what I mean? Her name is Nija, and you guys can follow her as well. I am Nija on Instagram. But yeah, she's doing that kind of stuff. So what happened with me, since I got so deep into the Lord, I did a project called The Holy Sounds of Surface.
Mhm.
And I titled the album Download from Heaven.
Mhm.
And it was my first venture into that. So I got into the Bible deep and I just opened it up and I started studying. And through the studies, I would use these verses and turn them into songs, in a sense. And my friend Preach, who was Thurston O'Neill, I brought him in and I started saying, I said, hey, look, because he's been in the church all his life. But I didn't want to do no so-called gospel record, because what I was reading in the Bible, I wasn't hearing in the music. So I started writing songs that I felt like the Bible was trying to say. And it took me to another direction. Now, do I still do surface? Of course. Do I still do R&B? Of course, I love R&B. Do I still do pop? Yeah. And recently, I'm involved in my smooth jazz record. So I'm a kind of all over the place, but lyrically, I really like where I'm going with this biblical truth music right now. It's really interesting to me, and once again, the Lord blessed me to be able to do it because I didn't know I could do that stuff. I
Right.
really had
Right, right,
no
right.
idea I could do it. And all of a sudden, these beautiful songs come out. I'm like, wow, man, just something must be about me that I don't know. So I got to stick around and see what God wants to do with me. So I'm here, just for the people right now, and hopefully I'm able to edify you through my music and my story.
Amen. From back
Mhm.
in the days when you were touring, I'm going to ask you to give me one singer that a male that
Mhm.
says the it factor. They got it. Natural talent, no computer synthesizing from back in the days. Just give me one.
Oh, I can give you so many. You
Give me two.
forgetting something because you come from that era.
Yeah, give me
Back
two.
then, we could really sing. Back then, there
Yeah.
was not a lot of machine.
Oh, there it is. There it
Sorry,
is.
all of them. But I do remember there was a time when I really, really had a great time with somebody that I grew up with musically, and I ended up doing some dates with him, and that was Jeffrey Osborne. And this guy can really sing. I mean, to be on tour with him was like almost like a dream come true. To have his crowd, all of them people singing woo woo woo, you know what I mean? And 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 then we come, because we had hit records, yeah, but we didn't have this, what is it, this whole group of people that followed us
Hmm.
because of who we were and the songs that they would follow, like Frankie Beverly. Come on, you go to Frankie Beverly, he had X amount of hits.
Right.
But what he had, people drew to it tight and they became a part of him, coming to support him, singing his song. When he say, I'm doing a white show, everybody got their white on looking sharp. Everybody
Right.
comes out for what? Because he said, this is what we're going to do. You know what I
All
mean?
white. Yeah.
See, all
Right.
white party. So these are when people are really into you as a artist, you
Hmm.
know. And believe it or not, us as artists are one thing, but you know what? Our songs were way more bigger than us as artists and people. All right.
Right.
Gotta have something though, you know what I mean? So you can say, do you remember Shower Me With Your Love? Hey, man, yeah, I remember that song. Who sang that song? Circus, Atlantic Star, that group Surface. Oh, Surface.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yes.
kind of remember them. You know what I mean? You'll get that. And it's okay because you know what? You remember something that we did.
Right. Right.
It would be something that they'd be like, oh, I don't really know them cats.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
really know that song. I don't really know them. That's a whole different lane. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's nice to be able to be have something, even though it's not. Oh, there goes Pick. Nah, And plus, look, look different now. You know what I mean? I didn't have dreadlocks back then. I didn't have a white
Hey,
beard back then. You know what I mean?
hey, you just, hey, you getting better with age, brother. You
Well,
getting better with age.
I feel better with age, not physically, because physically I got the ailments that grow with age. Come on now. Uh, I ain't got that same thing going on. But what I mean by I feel better with age is that all the things that I'm going through spiritually and mentally, and the people that I'm meeting, and the things that I'm going through, and the things that I'm growing is like different from growing as a child, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Or
Right.
as a high school student or as a college student. This growth that I'm going through right now has a different meaning to me. So yeah, it's some better things that are going on. Definitely.
Right. Right.
That's a blessing. I heard
Yeah.
Jeffrey Osborne uh, perform, and he can
Mhm.
sing.
That's an understatement.
Yes.
You know, even George Benson will talk about him. And George Benson, he's a good friend of mine too. But George, he'll tell you straight
Hmm.
up, man, I heard this song, this young fella at the time, his name was Jeffrey Osborne. I'm like, really? Come on. He sang this song and I fell in love with it. He ended up doing one of Jeffrey Osborne's songs. So he always talked about how great Jeffrey Osborne was as an artist and a singer.
Right.
And from a good singer like that, somebody talk about another singer, that's a compliment of a high level. So
Right.
hey, so that's what it is.
When you see Jeffrey in person, he's a small dude.
No, when you see me in person, I'm a small dude.
Yeah, man. You don't look
No,
too small now, man. You
no,
look
man.
like you look like you
No,
pretty
I'm a
stout
little.
over there.
No, I'm a little dude. I'm only 5'1", so
Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
5'1". That's it. That's all you get. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah.
But you
You
know
you
what's
looked
weird?
you looked taller on camera, I'll tell you that.
He looked like
So
a
did
big
Prince. Let me
boat.
tell you something. Prince too, and I'm telling you, I stand eye to eye to Prince. You know what I mean? I look right
Wow.
in his eyes. I'm like, yeah, what? I could take you. You know what I mean? I'm looking at him, sizing him up. I'm like, okay, not bad. You know what I mean? I'll tease it. But little guys, they look over like, and Prince, he's one of the baddest cats out here, right? When he was
Right.
out.
Right.
And so when I finally saw him, and I was a little intimidated when I first met Prince.
Wow.
I was, because I was in the studio. We worked with David Z, who was David Rifkin, who
Right.
was also Prince's engineer
Hmm.
on our first album. And we did the group called the Jets. When I say we, the Surface, we wrote songs for the Jets. And David Rifkin was producing them. So we said, why don't you work with me on these people and I'll work with you on Surface. I'll do a song with y'all. So we did a song with him on Surface called Lady Wants a Man on the first album. And by him being with Prince, I was allowed to go into Prince's studio and all that kind of good stuff,
Hmm.
hang out with those folks. But I got a chance to meet Sheila Escovita and Prince, although I didn't really meet Prince because I was a little intimidated by him. I didn't even come over and shake his hands. I just saw him and I just kind of just stared at him. It's like,
You know what?
I didn't know what to say. I'm honest.
You
Okay.
you wasn't starstruck, was you?
I kind of was. I kind of was. You know, let's face it. Prince had an image that was crazy,
Right. Right.
and and he was short. You know what I mean? So I look
Yeah.
at him. I'm like, damn. Look at this. And then he was like, and cursing words come in my mind. Look at this pretty one. You know what I'm saying? Pretty ass dude. You know what I mean?
You know what?
He'll scare anybody.
Jamie Foxx said the same thing.
Yeah, man. So
Jamie Foxx said when he met Prince, he had to talk to Prince with his head down.
Right.
yeah, sometimes it gets like that.
I'll change
Not a lot, but yeah,
I
sometimes.
changed the words. I changed the words up, but Jamie Foxx said, "Look at this pretty."
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Hey, the only
yeah.
dude I know
'Cause
that can wear
he was
heels.
pretty.
Right. He can wear
And
heels
get
and
away
make it
with
look
it, right?
good.
Jamie Foxx said, "Don't look him in the eye. Don't look him in the eyes."
Right.
You
Right.
have a question from one of your fans, T. Smalls. Hit it
Okay.
up.
What do you consider characteristics of a real artist?
Oh, real artist. First of all, a real artist has to have an identity. I call it the indelible sound. What's
Right.
an indelible sound? Well, when I look at one of my favorite artists of all time, who was Marvin Gaye, you will know Marvin Gaye's sound no matter what you put him on. He could sing jazz, he could sing pop, he could sing R&B. You know his voice. The real artist sometimes has that thing that's indelible, stamped to them. Bernard Jackson from Surface. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he had, you hear him, you automatically know him. You know, you got Ronald Isley, you know. Um, let's talk about the women. Aretha Franklin, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Whitney Houston. So that's the first thing. They have a sound that you know that belongs to them. You can't pry it off of them. It's there. And then on top of that, they realize that songs are very important in the business. So being a great vocalist and all that kind of stuff, without a great song, you kind of almost off to the side. You wonder what happened to them, what happened to them, what happened to them. You know,
Right.
songs are important. Are they writers? Some of them are, some of them are not. Some of them they need writers, but that doesn't really make the artist because, as we know, some of the greatest artists have not been writers.
Right.
So, and some of them have been. Stevie Wonder, come on, man.
Yeah.
The- you know, he writes his stuff and he's super great. So that's one of the things that I look at as being a great artist. You know, and back in the day, you know, it wasn't so much that you had to be so pretty. You know what I mean? But you had to have something that says, "That's that mother, that's him, that's her." You know what I mean? Something would say, "That's him."
Right.
No, look at you know that's Prince. Look at them things he got on his little tangles and things on his wrist. On, you know what I mean? You know, he like all that stuff. You
Yeah.
know,
He got on heels.
yeah. You wear it in the front of you. You know what I
Right.
mean? You
Right.
know, and you have to be confident.
Yeah.
A lot of stars sometimes are not as confident as you might think. You know, sometimes we view people. You'll never be the type of person that when the audience is looking at you, you'll never come up to what they really think. They're
Mm-hmm.
thinking all kinds of stuff about you. Most of that stuff ain't true.
Right.
It's just an image.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's just an image. You know, I'll never meet up to you if you see me. Oh man, I wonder what he's like. I wonder if that man. Come on, I can't meet that dude. I'm just
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? And and sometimes they get confused with the real image of an artist. But artists are very important out here. You know, we need them to have that stature. We need them to have those songs. We need them to just move us with that voice. You know, we need all of those things because it lifts us up, or it helps us when we're down. You know, it comforts us and it gives us a little sense of I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He could do it. My voice is like his. I can do it too. Look at him play that flute. I can play the flute, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So, you know, we need that out here as artists. So there you go.
You have a question from one of your fans, T Small. What they say?
My favorite Surface song was "Shower Me with Your Love."
Right.
that's
Well, is there a question to that or is that a statement?
It was a statement.
that's a statement.
Well, whoever left that statement, I'm going to ask a question to you. Do you know Tony Terry, who did the
Oh yeah.
song With You?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? He's going to be here right after the audition. I mean, right after the interview. I'm sorry. And we did a song together, me playing the flute, him singing the backgrounds, shower me with your love. And
Wow.
Wow.
it's going to be one of my singles, the next single that you're going to hear from me in the video and the whole nine. And you know, it's not like the way we did it with Surface, because you know, Bernard has his indelible stamp that we were talking about. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he has his style that he did the song with. And guess what? Tony has his indelible stamp. So when you hear this Shower Me With Your Love, which is a new interpolation of the song, especially with me playing the flute, the melody, and with Tony singing the backgrounds with the
Mm-hmm.
melodies, right? You're going to hear him and you're going to hear me, right? So it's
Right.
going to be a little different take on it, but you know, it's still going to keep the same integrity of the song. You know,
Right.
it's still so beautiful. You
That's a
know,
blessing.
and perhaps you
Before
might
we,
like that as well.
before we get into your new single, one thing that I like to do, I'm sure T Smalls does also. We like interviewing. We call it old school artists. Seem like we can talk to y'all.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know.
man. Y'all seen more. It's down. Not knocking the artists that's out today, but it's just like y'all seem like that uncle or auntie or whatever that you ain't seen in a while, and you
Right.
just you just having a little powwow. You're glad to see them. and you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, we just chopping it up and just getting to be reacquainted and everything. We love it, man. We love it.
Right.
It's the humbling process that we have to go through, you know what I mean? From being on
Mhm.
top and then, kind of getting let down softly, you know what I mean? But it's a humbling process, you know what I mean?
I heard that.
And
I
I think
heard
all
that.
of us at some point had a head like, yeah, I know I'm all that. You kind of got to have a little bit of that to get up on stage because when people are looking at you, you better know that you know what you're doing.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's a little bit of conceit there, a little ego there. It can get out of hand that we know, but we all have a little bit of that, or else we wouldn't be able to stand in front of thousands of people and do what
Right.
we do in front of them and do it well.
Right.
So, we grow into things and grow out of things in and out. You know what I mean?
Right. You have a new single, Romance,
Well,
Morning,
that's
Morning,
morning romance, yes.
Morning Romance.
And I'm going to do something a little different with the singles. I'm going to put out two singles on the same, not the CD, because they'll be like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to put them on drop cards.
Mhm.
And the drop card is like the size of a credit card,
Right.
and it has
Okay.
all the art. Yeah, the artwork is on it, and then on the flip side, it shows you where to download the record. And I'm going to just put, like a couple of songs, but it's still going to be my single. And
Mhm.
on the single, the main songs are "Shower Me with Your Love" and "Morning Romance," and perhaps I'll put a couple of different mixes on there so that you can
Right.
get. That's what I'm going to do first.
I'm gonna play a little bit of that for everybody,
All
so they
right.
can hear that a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Cup of coffee, driving, sunroof back.
Oh, you got to be smooth with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's smooth.
Mm.
Nice.
I like that.
Come on.
When I wake up and take a look at my lady, I thank God for the
Complicated.
I love this, man.
You're doing your thing on that.
All right. Wait till the chorus comes around.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Time for more than romance, baby. And there you go. Morning romance.
If you get into an argument, all you gotta do is play that song right there.
Hey,
All
just press
right,
play.
yeah.
Just press play.
Thanks, dear.
Just press play and say, "Be quiet."
Right? Let the music talk for you.
That's smooth right there.
Wow, thanks.
I love this, man.
Do you think you'll be doing any more tour dates anytime soon?
Well, soon is relative to the COVID.
Right.
We do have a show coming up in Detroit on December 13th with Surface. And it's still, the jury's still out. We're hoping that it's going to come through, you know what I mean? Because this next wave that they're talking about is coming through, and God bless my uncle who just passed away. What was it? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday morning.
Oh.
And from the COVID. So we don't know what's going on with the tour stuff right now. Do we want to be out there? Yeah, but we don't want to cause nobody no harm, coming out to see us and they walk away with some kind of a virus. And
Right.
It's crazy.
So
So we'll see.
go ahead, sir.
I said, we'll see.
Where can we get your music from?
It's mostly like on Amazon and iTunes and all the download spots. Pretty much that's where we pretty much get most of it going. I'm still working on getting my site. My site's been up and down. I do have a website called
Mhm.
surfaceresurface.com. Once again, surfaceresurface.com. One word. It's all small letters.
All right.
And on there, I do have my resurface CDs up on there. Um, the Holy Sounds of Surface you can get on Amazon and iTunes. And this next record, the same, pretty much the same.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
With the new technology that's out now, I'm sure it's a big adjustment for you compared to back in the days,
Not anymore. The adjustment's over with. I mean, it's been stated already that this is how it's going down. It,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't like it was a surprise. We see what's going on. When we first came out with Surface on the first album, CDs were just coming out, so
Oh,
we were doing cassettes and vinyl. I remember the first time they said they were going to put us on CD, we was literally losing our mind because at that time, the only ones that were going on CDs was literally the white groups. The
Mm-hmm.
big pop white groups. Wasn't a lot of black groups on CDs. So we were just hopefully going to get there. Then when they said they were going to do it, wow, it was like, oh man, big deal. And
Mm-hmm.
now they done phased that out. So we're doing the downloads. We're streaming now. Everybody got streaming going on. So we move from one medium to the other. As long as you can get the music, it's fun.
right. So at
Mhm.
night, or say you're drinking a cup of coffee, is that most of the times that you think of a new song to do? It just pop in your head?
Not really. Um, my life predicts things that are coming through my mind and all that stuff. Sometimes I have dreams. Uh, a lot of times I wake up with things like there's a guy. His name is Ruben. He's doing a movie, and he called me up. He says, I want this song, this type of song on my movie, and it's about Israelite men. And he said, I want to do something with a play on the words. It is real man. So I woke up that morning and he told me he wanted it like the end of Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder, yeah.
Hmm.
And somebody's calling.
Answer
I'm
call.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, yeah, no, I answered and hung up. So, and he wanted a bunch of stars to sing on it.
Papua Israel.
That's my wife.
Answer call. Button.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Who I'm in the middle of an interview. Can't talk right now, sweetheart. Love you. So I asked my wife if she remembers the movie Jacob's Ladder. Not Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Lyric. No, Jason's Lyric.
There's yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Jason's Lyric.
Jason Lyric.
Right. And she said, yeah, yeah. I said, remember when all the stars were singing that song? She said, yeah. I said, Ruben wants me to do a song like that. So I woke up that morning kind of hearing something. And I kind of sang it on my little phone over here, sang little parts that I heard. And then I came downstairs in my studio. I'm in my studio right now. So I
Mm-hmm.
pulled it up and I started working on it a little bit. And then I sent it over to my friend Gene Lake. I said, Gene, check this out. I says, I'm writing this lyric on, it is real man. So we stood on the phone. We got the music together over the phone. I said, I want this, that, and the other. So he was working it out over the phone. He's in
Mm-hmm.
his studio. I'm in mine. So he's working out the music. And all of a sudden, we finally agree on this track. So he sends me the music. And so when he sent the music, I had just pretty much had the chorus down. So I got a singer out here. And he started singing a song. And then we just wrote it on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we sent it over to Ruben, he was like, "That's it, I love it." He said, "So who are we going to get to sing it?" So he wanted people like Howard Hewitt, Joe, of course, Tony Terry, Glenn Jones. These type people to all have little parts in the song, and it's very positive. It's positive in the sense that we are talking about in the song. We are talking about men. That from why is it real man now? Because the men that we see out here sometimes get a little mandy pandy, their pants is hanging. A lot of times they're leaving kids at the house without having a father there. There's sons growing up trying to be men, but who are they growing up with? Their mothers,
Right.
because a lot of us are in jail, or a
Right.
lot of us they go other places. we plant a seed here, plant a seed here, plant a seed there. We have all these women that we have babies by, and some of us just ain't taking care of them. So it's time for real men to step up, is what the song is really all about. So it has a positive message to it, but it does have some of the realities of what's been happening out here. So he really dug it, and the movie's going to be shot next year. But we just, that's the most recent song that I've written, and it's in my new house. I just got here maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
So I built the studio here, and it just lit up. I mean, the ideas are just flowing out. I'm just loving my new house. I'm loving my new area. I'm in the Atlanta area. I love it here.
Good.
Yeah, man. I just came from there, man.
Oh, I
just
love
came
it
from
here.
there.
I got friends here. I got family here.
Yeah.
And it's just so creative. It's so upward mobile for me in my life right now. It just feels good for me. So I got a feeling that some things are going to start happening again, and because I don't expect a whole lot to happen. I do my little things that go unnoticed, but I don't care because whoever gets them, they get inspired on their own little level. You know what I mean? I don't have to reach millions. If I reach 10 and they get edified from my music and get lifted up from my music or even from my story. Look, I'm a blind dude. Am I letting this thing get next to me? No. I'm a freaking engineer. I move over to my studio. I'm working all this equipment over here that you can't see, but I'm doing it all myself because it's all talking. It's talking to me.
Wow.
When my phone rings, it tells me, oh, your wife's on the phone. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? I ain't looking at the screen like you guys. But it's not. My point is, it's not stopping me from projecting and just being productive.
Right,
So I don't want people to think, okay, you had a bad car accident. You hurt yourself so bad that you can't walk, and you think your life is over, or you lose your sight from diabetes. Your life is over. No, it ain't. It's just starting. Because whatever happened to you, there's a reason why it happens. We don't know what the reason is.
Right.
I can't tell you if I could see like you guys. If I would have walked home with this here flute and not know a damn thing what to do with it, just sold it for that $25.
Yeah.
Because there was something else in me that opened up a door that might not have opened if I could see.
Right.
There's a certain person that I might not have recognized if I could see. So you take whatever problems you have and you don't let them bring you down. You let them bring you up.
Right.
Because please bring you down. You can't change it.
That's a blessing. You sent me another song, You're All I Need. Let's play a little clip of that.
Oh, that's Isaac Brothers, because I'm inspired by them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's who inspired you?
Yeah, well, that's one of them. We were very, very close to the Isaac Brothers because David Townsend, the other member of Surface, guess who he played with? The Isaac Brothers.
Okay.
So we have things that are close to each other,
Oh, okay.
musically, ideas and stuff.
Back in the days, how hard was the grind, from back then of you guys' tour schedule?
Well, the first tour was just so interesting and so intense that it's kind of hard to tell what kind of grind was going on. It was just hit records that came out of nowhere, and they put us on this 10-month tour.
Wow.
And it was new, even though I was on a world tour with Mandrill, but I wasn't in it as one of the lead members. I was just a hired hand, a hired gun. But with Surface, you have to be, you have to make sure the band is right. You have to make sure that the clothes are right. You have to make sure that the budgets are right. If you have a week where you're not working, you have to keep the band on the road. You got to pay them. You got to make sure that they're tight. You know what I mean? All these things happen when you're running the situation. When I was with Mandrill, I was like, just, hey, I'm playing, pay me. You know what I mean? It's just different. So you take on different responsibilities when you're on the road. So
right.
It was great. I got to tell you, it was fabulous. 10 months, being out there with all the big stars that you grow up with, you know what I mean? Because a hit record puts you up with other people who are making hits. So when we hang around there, folks, I'm like, damn, dude, what? Yo. All of a sudden, you got friends like Rick James, you know what I mean? Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson, you know what I mean? Like, what?
There it is.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, really?
Have you ever
So
met Michael Jackson?
have I did what?
Have you ever met Michael
Oh
Jackson?
yeah, yeah. Oh, you guys might not know. I produced 2 albums on Reby Jackson, and I also produced 2 songs on Jermaine Jackson. One of them was a hit song called "Don't Take It Personal."
Wow.
Oh
So
yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a
yeah,
smooth song. Don't take.
yeah.
Personal. Yeah.
And because of my connection with Reby, who's one of my really personal friends, her daughter was getting married, and Michael gave her the ranch. So I was able to go to the ranch to the wedding. I'm like, what? I'm
Wow.
up at the ranch, Mike's ranch, Janet's there, and Ronnie Laws, to name a few. And
Mhm.
it was just beautiful at the ranch, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing was, a lot of people don't know, we recorded our first album, self-titled Surface album, at Tito Jackson's studio in his house. So that's where we did our first album. And so that put me even closer to all the Jacksons and stuff like that. So, I know all of them. So,
That's a blessing. But I want you to know, and Mr. T. Smalls, I'm sure you also, you're a legend, and you won't be forgotten no
Oh
matter.
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
People say that. I don't really claim that. I'm a guy that just happened to be in good places at good times. I'm able to work with really, really beautiful, wonderful people. You know what I mean? And just like picking up this flute, I don't know how they happen, but there is a grind that happens that I think I always had. I was a little guy that was always able to kind of weasel my way up into different places, and they just don't even notice that I'm there. I would walk into people's sessions in studios, and I would act like I worked there.
Right.
And I don't know how I learned how to do that. I remember walking in a session. There's a old OG singer named Lou Rawls, way back in my mama's days, right?
Yeah.
And he was out in a studio out in California. I just walked up in the studio, and he was standing there, and I walked in like I was getting ready to take the garbage out or whatever the case may be. And I stood there and I listened to a little bit. He looked over at me and said, "Hey," smiled and said, "Hey, look, boom, good." And then the music went on. I said, "Hey, that's nice," And he turned over and said, "Hey, cool, thanks." You know what? I'm in their session. Next thing you know, I'm out there in the lobby. He's coming out there. And he's got the band going on. He's talking to the band. I said, "Hey, I play percussion."
Right.
And I said, "Because you don't have a percussionist." I said, "I can play percussion in your band." So I got a little audition from him. I didn't get in the show. The same guy that managed Lou Rawls also managed Jose Feliciano, who was another OG singer back in the day. And I actually got to play with him at Magic Mountain in California. So I was able to kind of swoop, go into different places like that,
Mhm.
and just kind of grind in my own little way, you know what I mean?
All
Being
right.
short helped. If I was really big, it would be like, okay, what's that big dude?
Yeah.
What's that big dude?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little dude. They ain't even noticed I come in. You never saw me coming.
You want to play us a little clip before we go? A little something?
Oh, you want to hear it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just a
Oh,
little
yeah.
something,
A little something.
so short series.
Man,
Man,
that's what I'm talking about.
I think after that, man, hey, Smalls, I think we need to go get baptized, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Definitely.
Make sure you get baptized by the word.
Hey, you know what, man? That's pretty smooth, man. It's amazing how that instrument chose you. That right there, man. It's man, I love it. I love it. It chose you, man. Just like you said, it chose you.
Mhm.
We appreciate you, man. We're not gonna hold you any longer. I know you got to get busy in the studio.
Yeah, we got a session coming up with Tony Terry. Yeah.
Good old Tony Terry.
Oh, yes, that's my dude. That's my dude.
I know that's
Shout out
right.
to Gene Lake, one of my producer friends, and we're going to do this thing. And my family. Shout out to my wife, Pua. All right.
All right.
That's a blessing, man. We love to have you on here, and you always have a home on this podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, man. You can come back anytime.
Well, I'm going to come back when I drop this here record. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Right.
Right.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you always got a home. Everybody be safe. Mr. Dave Pitt Conley from Surface.
Wow.
Old school OG.
That's right. Shalom, everybody. Love y'all.
Yeah, we love him too. Don't forget to wear your mask. Keep safe. The coronavirus is still real out here. You know what I'm saying? And don't think that that it is a joke. Mr. Smalls, let's take us out of prayer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, God, for this day. Thank you for Mr. David Pitt Conley, Prince David Pitt Conley.
That's right.
For joining us today, man, taking time out of his busy schedule, man. He could have been anywhere else in the world, but he joined us today. We thank you for his time. Continue to bless him. Continue to guide his path, Lord. In your name, we pray. Amen.
All right, amen.
And we love everybody. Mr. Conley, stay on about 30 seconds after we get off.
Gotcha.
We love everybody. Be safe. I think there's some weather coming in the United States. Somewhere. There you go. Some weather coming. Just be careful out there. Mr. Smalls, you be careful on your travels back to
Yes, sir. I do appreciate it. I will be there safe.
We'll be there safe. I'm going to be safe. And we love y'all. And thanks for watching. Let's Talk Under the Tree podcast. See y'all later.